I write.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, folks, just as a reminder, tonight's meeting is being recorded. Eventually, I believe there are some technical difficulties, but we have a live meeting ready to go. So we're going to begin the meeting with the public comment period. So at this point, the public comment period, all speakers are encouraged to present their remarks in a respectful manner to consider the privacy and interests of others. Speakers may begin their remarks by stating their name, address, and affiliation. All remarks will be addressed through the chair. Public comment shall only concern items that are within the scope of the school committee's authority. Speakers will be allowed 3 minutes to present their material, and in general, extensions of time will not be permitted. Speakers may not assign their time to another speaker. Those who wish to address the meeting can come up to the podium, state your name and address and affiliation, please.
Justine, I brought my own self-timer. I've got my speech to 2 minutes and 43 seconds, but I'm going to keep my clock running just to make sure I stay pace. Oh, well, I'm like, I know she'll cut me down, so I've said this about 30 times to make sure that I am good to go. So I'm going to hit start. My name is Rachel Kearney. I'm a special education teacher at Norton High School, and I'm the president of the Norton Teachers Association. For the past 15 months, the NTA and the district have worked productively and in collaboration to negotiate a new contract for the NTA. Many hours have been put in by parties on both sides, and much progress has been made during this time. However, last Friday, the district filed for mediation with the Department of Labor Relations, claiming the two sides are at an impasse. This action was taken despite only 1 week earlier the two parties exchanging counteroffers at a negotiation session held on Friday, January 16th. This evidence directly refutes the district's position that the parties are at an impasse. The parties were negotiating literally right up until the week mediation was filed. The NTA strongly disputes that the parties are at an impasse and will be filing a response with the Department of Labor Relations. The NTA enjoys a long history of having a collaborative and respectful relationship with the district, working together for the betterment of Norton Public Schools and its students. We remain committed to working with the district to successfully negotiate a contract that is fair to our members and recognizes the dedication and hard work of NPS educators. Mediation is not the answer. It can be a long and costly process. For a school committee that prides itself on being fiscally responsible, it makes no sense why they would want to impose this unnecessary expense on Norton taxpayers. Negotiating this contract has been like running a marathon. The last mile is always the hardest one to run, and that's where we're at right now. The parties have engaged in months and months of hard work to successfully negotiate a significant number of issues. The NTA even worked with the district when 9 months into the negotiations process, they proposed an entirely new pay structure that required the NTA to put in countless hours of work to correct the multitude of errors and oversights contained in the proposal, which included dozens of members scheduled to receive less than the 2.5 COLA increase in year one that the district claimed the new grid provided. The few remaining issues are the hardest to settle, but I am confident that working together, the district and the NTA can finish this race together. I implore the parents and taxpayers of Norton to reach out to your school committee and Superintendent O'Neill and demand they return to the negotiating table, work with the NTA, and finalize this contract. 2:53, not bad.
Thank you.
All right. Hi, Karen Denningham. I'm a resident of Attleboro, but I'm a teacher at Norton High School. And I'm here tonight representing the Norton Teachers Association. At the school committee meeting on January 14th, member of this committee made some comments about the NTA that were very upsetting to many of our members. And I would like to respond on behalf of the NTA to some of those points that were made. On January 14th, you stated that the fact this contract is not yet settled is due to the Massachusetts Teachers Association's, quote, politically driven influence. This implied that we are puppets of the MTA. We are not. We have made decisions as a team to do what is best for our members, our educators, and our students, not any political agenda. On January 14th, it was stated, quote, if you do not live here, you do not understand the depth of the connections that bind us. I would like to remind the committee that almost 1/3 of Norton's educators live here in Norton, and dozens more grew up in this town. You also stated that, quote, our deep connections within our community have prepared us for this struggle, and we agree. We recognize the reality of Norton's finances. We agree that your work has been grounded in fiscal responsibility, as has ours. We have researched and verified that all financial proposals we brought to the table were fiscally reasonable, based on the financial data your team provided with us at the start of this process. Yet, when we provided your team with alternatives to financial compensation or pointed out inequities in a proposal while also providing solutions, we were dismissed. On January 14th, it was implied that a strike was imminent, despite Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 150E, Section 9A, prohibiting strikes by public employees. However, in 16 months of negotiations, including 7 without a contract, there has, in fact, been no work stoppage, slowdown, or withholding of services of any kind. In fact, work has extended beyond the school day and beyond contractual obligations. College recommendations were written, field trips were planned, dances and activities have been chaperoned by teachers and other staff on their own time. Concerns of parents and students have been addressed at all hours. You stated, quote, Norton's kids need action today, not promises tomorrow. NTA educators continue to do exactly that, despite the lack of a contract. On January 14th, it was stated, quote, the loudest voices in the room are not always in the majority. We agree with this, which is why we always solicit and listen to the quiet voices as well. Were the comments on January 14th an example of a loud voice, or were they the position of this committee as a whole? We look forward to the Norton School Committee's public clarification about your collective position on these matters. The NTA believes that the historically positive relationship between the school committee and the NTA is exactly why so many problems have been solved responsibly and collaboratively with the needs of our students in mind. We encourage members of this committee to abandon efforts to erode trust within this community and join us in preserving this mutually beneficial collaborative effort. Thank you.
Thank you.
Donna Dolak, I live at 104 Newcomb Street. When I come up here to speak, I usually speak from the perspective of a parent because I feel more comfortable in that role. However, in talking to my friends and colleagues who are also paraprofessionals, I realized that a lot of us don't feel like we have a voice, and a lot of us are feeling kind of undervalued. I think that there's a perception out there that paraprofessionals are just teachers' aides who make photocopies, pass out papers, and assist with classroom management. In reality, here are some of the things that paraprofessionals actually do. Work one-on-one with struggling students, lead small groups providing and reinforcing academic instruction, take data, and help students achieve IEP goals, assist with implementing accommodations and modifications for student success, provide behavioral interventions, and increasingly we're being asked to deal with more complex and more challenging behavior problems. All this, and we are frequently polled and asked to substitute for teachers on a regular basis. Many of us have bachelor's or even master's degrees, and even though that may not technically be a requirement for this job, the reality is that in the educational setting today, you desperately need to have good, strong, highly skilled paraprofessionals. This is not really a job for someone with no life experience or educational background. We love our teachers and we need them, but the truth is you also equally need to have good, skilled paras to make our schools run smoothly. And that's why we think we're worth more than a 60-cent raise.
Thank you. Is there anybody else before we close the public comment period? Okay. Moving on to the next item agenda is vote to approve the minutes of the January 14th open session meeting. Have all members had a chance to read those?
Yep.
Okay. Entertaining motion to approve the meetings as presented.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I will abstain since I was not here. Next is the motion to approve the meeting minutes of January 21st, which was a joint meeting. Entertaining motion to approve as written.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And there'll be 2 abstains on that since you weren't present as well. Okay, next is the warrants. Mrs. Callahan?
I have reviewed the following school expense warrant, January 14th, 2026, $465,360.73. I wish to enter those into public record.
Thank you. Next, we have our student reps update with Benson and Leah. Hi, guys.
Hello, everyone. From the high school, winter sports are off to a strong season with several teams and individual athletes qualifying for state tournaments. Senior nights have been a great opportunity to celebrate the dedication of our student athletes. Mid-year assessments have concluded last week and the second semester officially began today as we look ahead to a strong second half of the school year. And from the Yale, students are actively participating in the PTO Boosterthon Fun Run fundraiser, which runs from January 21st to January 30th and includes daily character lessons and school-wide activities led by Boosterthon staff.
And then, continued from the Yale, the Glow Fun Run will take place this Friday in the gym. Funds raised will support student assemblies, 5th grade yearbooks, the book vending machine, and other student activities. Daily incentives are keeping students motivated with school-wide reward planned if the $20,000 goal is reached. And then from the LG, representatives from ST Math and 1-8 Foundation visited the LGN to observe instruction and learn about the school's success with the program. The PTC hosted a well-attended movie night for families, and plans are finalized to add a new playground equipment during April break. Teachers are also holding grade-level data meetings this week to review the CBM and STAR data and adjust student supports and interventions. That is all from us tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Any questions, Ron? No. Next, we have our student spotlight section with our 351 ambassador with Mr. Ronnie Goldstein. Come on up.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Once a year, I like to come before this group and talk a little bit about something that's very near and dear to me. And so every year, we have the privilege of choosing an ambassador to represent the town of Norton. And Project 351 is the largest organization of its kind in the country. And the idea behind Project 351, of course, is 351 communities in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And so each community in the Commonwealth sends one 8th grade ambassador to participate in a year of service. And so the idea is that every year, Project 351 kicks off their service year on Martin Luther King Jr. weekend. And I'm going to let Teddy do a little more talking about that. But before I do that, I just wanted to make mention of the fact that, many of our students who have become ambassadors over the years have gone on to do great things and, are well known in the community. One is sitting here before you today. I'd just like to acknowledge Benson Chang because he, of course, is a senior, is graduating, but of course has done a great service to the community as a whole. So I just wanted to give my props to Benson because he's sitting there. But I do want to give Teddy his chance because this is his year this year to speak a little bit about his day. So if he could just kind of tell everybody here about how his day went and just what it was like.
Thank you. I'm trying to remember what day it was.
Saturday, Martin Luther King weekend.
That day, I got on the bus and I had no idea to expect what was going to happen. I was a little scared, to be honest. But it ended up actually being really, really fun. We went on different service buses, and we went different places. My group had gone to IBU Hall. I can't remember what it stands for.
It It's a union hall.
Brotherhood of Electrical Workers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But there we made rice and bean bags for people who needed meals. We made anti-kindness blankets for people that were like struggling with mental health and just needed like a hug from somebody. And we also made these sewing kits with like letters of encouragement, such as "Don't give up, you got this," and such. And it was just a really awesome experience. We got to like actually help people in our community, and it was just amazing. And I met so many fun people that I wish I could meet again. I think I will be meeting again in the spring service. But it was just an amazing opportunity, and I'm so thankful that Project 351 gave us this opportunity to do this.
In addition, I just want to add to the fact that that day there were several service sites throughout the city of Boston and in Chelsea, for that matter. And so, in total that day, the efforts of all the ambassadors who were there that day, and of course talking about hundreds of students from across the state, their combined efforts participating in doing various different things helped in total. Over 25,000 people were affected by the work that took place that day. And that's just that day. And so it's really, remarkable to see young people come together for a common purpose and to really take time out of their schedules and days to do that. And so I just, I think that we're in good hands with Teddy. I think that, he understands the value of what's happened, and I know that he'll continue, the legacy that we've created in this town of, great leaders and great student ambassadors. So I'm excited for that. I actually have some ambassador handbooks here for you folks. So if you just want to pass them down, you can keep those. I have a whole stack of them. I just ended up with them somehow. I'm not sure how. So, but if anybody has any questions, we're happy to answer any questions any of you may have. I know, like I said, I've done this year in and year out, so I'm happy to answer any questions somebody might have.
So I know you mentioned that there's multiple sites around the city. Do you go to all those sites, or do you just stay at like IBEW for the whole day and just do those activities? Or are you constantly moving around the city to do different things?
We stayed in IBEW for the day.
Okay.
And so I actually was not at the same service site. I actually ended up at La Colaborativa, which is a site in Chelsea, which serves the underprivileged community in Chelsea. So
now you mentioned this is 351, so it's one student and like one administrator from all over across the state, or could it be more? Or how does this?
So larger districts do have multiple ambassadors. Okay. So for instance, the city of Boston has about a half dozen for obvious reasons, because it's a huge district. But there are other districts that, send 2 or 3, that sort of thing. And as far as my involvement goes, I've been doing, this is the 16th year of Project 351. I've been involved for 15 years. And that's just a personal choice that I make, because I believe in the mission of what they do, and I think it's important, and it's something that gives me great personal fulfillment, and so that's why I have selfish reasons for doing it, but I also like being around, accomplished and, capable young people like Teddy. So
do you, for this type of project, do you receive recommendations from the staff, or do you, what's your process to select, we've had a long line of tremendous ambassadors. So what's kind of your process, Mr. Goldstein?
So the process involves certainly me seeking feedback from staff in the building. I usually seek out the feedback of, teachers, guidance counselors, and specialists as well, really, because they see students in a different light than I do. Unfortunately, due to the nature of my position, I don't always see the best of students. Sometimes I do, and I cherish those moments, and I really enjoy the time where I get to see students at their best, but unfortunately, sometimes I don't. And so I do rely on that input. Certainly, that plays a factor.
Okay. Any other questions?
Teddy, you did a wonderful job sharing your experience, and thank you so much. I think this is such a great project, and Mr. Goldstein, thank you for continuing to involve Norton. And just props to you, because it's not easy to get up in front of a bunch of people that you may know, but also don't know, and you did a really good job. Thank you.
I have a certificate for Teddy, but I also have a question. So, Teddy, now are you going to be doing a community service project here in our community as well?
I'm not so sure.
Coming up, so.
So you,
Oh, I thought that was.
Yep, that's
Oh,
it.
I
There
didn't
you
know
go.
there was.
all right, tell us about spring service.
I'm not the sharpest on this.
Oh,
but yeah, it's a clothing drive where we donate clothing. I think some people I've seen it made posts about it and like what they donate. It's gonna be in the spring.
wonderful.
It's for cradles to crayons. Yeah, I don't know too much about that.
That's fine.
That sounds great. It's not spring yet, so you don't have to worry about it. And I'm sure we'll hear more from you when you guys are ready to get started. But this is just a small token of my appreciation for you, Teddy, just a certificate of recognition. Congratulations. And then we'll have your family come up and we can do a picture of them. All right, come on up.
So cute.
Come on a second.
Thank you. We look forward to hearing what your next project might be. Next, we have discussion and vote on the use of the Yale Elementary School and the high school grounds for the annual Norton Veterans Council. Mr. Marsan and guest.
Mr. Cameron.
Mr. Cameron.
Yeah, the name escaped me. I apologize.
I'll take care of that.
So I just said and guest, so I was trying to be polite as I could.
Well, good evening. Thank you for having us here. I'm Roger Marsan, and I'm here with Mr. Gary Cameron, and we're representing the Norton Veterans Council just to talk about the carnival that we put on each year. For the past 4 years, we've been doing it at the Yale School. We want to thank the school committee and the school department for the use of the facilities, and we look forward to being able to use them again. This is our 4th year of running the carnival. And it's really become a tradition in town, and it's a great place for people to gather in the summertime. This year we're using the same vendor as we had last year, which is an improvement over our experience that we had the first couple of years that we ran it. And we're hoping to include Founders Day again this year, fireworks on Saturday night. We'll have a car show on Sunday, and we're always looking for volunteers, so I know that there's volunteer time that's needed for some students, so if any students are interested in helping out at the carnival, give us a call, and we'll be more than happy to have you come down and give us a hand. The dates for the carnival this year will be June 25th through the 28th. And that's the weekend before the 4th of July, and I think it puts us far enough past the end of the school year, so long as the snow stops.
Crossed.
It kind of seems funny that we're here talking about the carnival and we're just get done shoveling out all that snow. But
We got to look forward to something, Roger.
yeah, but it takes this much planning and this much time to put it together and make it a success. So I'd just like to take a minute and give you an idea of the funds that we raise and what we do with some of those funds so that people know why we're doing this. Aside from the fact that we put it on for the town and it's a great place for the town to gather and something that they can look forward to, we also give donations. We helped out families of veterans in town. We had somebody who had a fire in their home that we were able to help them. We put together, they call them grab-and-go bags around Thanksgiving, where veterans just drive through and they pick up a bag full of all kind of groceries and gift cards that we put together for them, people who need a little bit of a hand. During the holidays, we also help out with Pat Tarantino and Wreaths Across America. We make donations to that effort as well. We've given thousands of dollars to the Veterans Office to help out veterans through our veteran services here with Estelle. We put on the Poppy lunch through the Veterans Office. We give scholarships to students who are every year that are going into the military. We give scholarships for students who are moving on to higher education, and Veterans Council gives a scholarship to students who are going into the military as well. And this year, we're really proud that we started a program where we call it Home for the Holidays, where we actually have reaching out to people who would like to come home for the holidays and have the ability, and we take that burden off of their shoulders so they don't have to worry about how they're going to get home. So we help veterans come home who are serving now. So I guess we're asking if you wouldn't mind helping us out and letting us use the facility again this year.
Yeah,
But of course. How do we say no to that?
yeah. No, I mean,
If you have any questions about anything as well,
no, I mean, it's always a good partnership for us. Obviously the concern is always that schools are not in use, and we've avoided that. Do you have anything like you've learned in past years that you need us to address, like parking or anything like that, or, traffic flow or anything like that, or like a remote parking area? Like, just want to make sure we're giving you everything you need to have a successful carnival, because I know many years ago there was an unsuccessful one by a different group. So, we're obviously looking to assist as much as we can. So,
So we've obviously we learn things as we go, like everybody does. Hopefully, as you go year to year. We've partnered up with NEMA here in town, and they are an asset that is unbelievable to us with helping with traffic flow and parking. So we make it it's a one-way traffic system when we have it. We split the main road that goes into the high school in half so that pedestrians can walk down one half, and it's in traffic only, and everybody exits out through the exit that comes out over near Freeman Street. So traffic's only moving one way, and they really help us out a lot on that. And as something else that we learned this year when we started doing fireworks just this past year is we allow people to come you've allowed us to have people go out onto the turf fields, and we have volunteers stationed at all of the entrances to that to make sure that they're not bringing in chairs that can poke into that. But, we learn things every year. We're going to tweak a couple of things this year. We have a new fireworks company that we're using this year that's more local than the one that we had last year, so that hopefully will help us out some too. So we learn things every year, but the help that you folks have given us has been great. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. We may ask that at our expense, if we can maybe repair a couple of the outlets on the side of the building, that we may be able to get power easier, or something that we can partner up with you and take care of some of that stuff.
Fine with me.
What's that? I'm sorry.
Fine by me.
sold.
But they're just little things like that we've learned. So
Now I know the workers of the carnival typically will park in the public, not behind the school, right? Okay.
Yep, they park over behind the old
Near the
senior
tower.
center over there on town property. And using the company that we're dealing with, they're out of Seabrook, New Hampshire, so a lot of their people travel with them. But they're a really big company. They're the same company that puts on Kids Day over in North Attleboro.
Yep.
And they're someplace every week. They do all of the Festival of Lights even at Christmas time around. So.
Okay. Any other questions, comments?
No, I think just thanking you guys for all your work. I know you guys do a ton with the veterans, not just the carnival. There's a ton that goes on in town, and the work is definitely appreciated.
Okay, anything else? All right, so entertain a motion to approve the request for the use of facilities as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Good
I'll
luck.
see you when it's a little warmer.
Yeah.
Okay, next we have discussion on the proposed budget with Mrs. Hatfield.
All
right, good evening. So this is the first look at the budget for FY27 for the Norton School Committee. It's crazy to think that we're talking about FY27 because it feels like yesterday we were just going through, I don't even know, whatever. So you can see that what Christine has shared with you, I'm going to let her kind of go through the specifics, but this represents a level service budget, which, you know, as I've shared in the past with people, a level service budget allows us to retain the same levels of service, same levels of teaching and learning for all students in the upcoming school year. It is a financial increase over 1 year from the next, because as we know, all of our costs go up from 1 year to the next. This is actually the lowest level service budget that we have shared with you since I began in this role. As I believe you'll recall, a few years ago, it was 12%, and that was the year that we had our massive layoffs. Last year was just under 5%, and this is about 4.5%. A 4.5% increase is still an increase of $1.691 million. Our current budget is $37,101,669, and level services for FY27 would be $38,793,654. I'm going to let Christine kind of walk you through the way that we break things down in terms of mandated educational costs, what that includes, and then our general education and operational expenses. And then we'll also talk about how we actually get to that number, the things that we do to get us there. So, Christine?
Thank you. So as Jen said, Dr. O'Neill said, we separate the budget out between the mandated education and the general education. The mandated educational costs include the special education services, staff, as well as, sorry, I hate this mic.
I can hear you. The rest of them can't.
As well as our out-of-district placements, transportation, and other costs as well, which is our English language learners, homeless transportation, and other translation services. So as you can see this year, upcoming year, we're actually going to have a decrease in these services of a 0.86%, so just about a percent decrease, which is 132,596, and then about an 8.4 increase for the general education, which is pretty much everything else in the budget, all of our other salaries, all other departments, and operational costs. But when you're looking at what's driving this, in the total, what drives the total increase of the 1.6 million to get us to the 4.5%. Salaries account for the largest portion of this increase, with around $2,999,622, and this reflects all of our contractual obligations, staffing needs that maintain our current services, and this includes everyone in the district. So all of our unions, all of our collective bargainings, and all the other contract substitutes. So this was a little challenging because as we're preparing with a lot of uncertainty this year and then hypothesizing for next year. So this right now is our largest increase, but not as, what's the word I'm looking for? Not what you're always planning, I guess,
Right.
because we don't know yet.
Yeah, well, I think what you're trying to say is, like, there's still a lot of unknowns when it comes to salaries.
Correct.
So, for example, all of our teachers have the ability to move from one column to another if they are enhancing their educational background, if they're receiving another degree, if they're going from master's plus 15 to master's plus 30. So we try to build those items into the budget. They are required to let us know by December 15th if they feel that they're going to move. But not everyone, often people will say, yes, I think I'm going to move, and then it might not happen. We don't have a lot of retirements yet at this point. I think right now we have 2 district-wide. So those could be a factor. This is definitely the line that changes the most over time, especially when you have someone that may resign or someone that may leave to be on maternity leave, and then you backfill that person with someone else. So that is definitely something that is consistently a moving target. And as Christine mentioned, as we all know, it's the giant elephant in the room. We haven't settled a contract yet for this current year. So it makes it really challenging to kind of budget for next year when we really haven't finalized a budget for this current year.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sounds like what you were trying to say.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Also in here is the transportation for our in-district students at an increase of 118,142. That is already set in stone with our big yellow buses. The next is our instructional and operation areas. Those are all smaller increase than they tend to be. For the instructional supplies and contract services and dues and travel, that is 80,637. And all of our maintenance and operational costs is about 59,199.
I think the other important line for us to look at and kind of talk about here tonight is the second line down. It actually says decrease in out-of-district special education costs, net of circuit breaker. So number one, this current year, we received additional funding in state reimbursement from circuit breaker, which is great, and it was unanticipated. And that money must go directly to supporting student tuition services. Additionally, student needs are constantly changing. This savings here is because of students that are either aging out of their current placement, they're turning 22 or they're graduating, or a student need is changing, and so they may no longer need as restrictive of a program as that they have in the past. So I'm sure those of you who have listened to us present on budgets, you know this is another area where today, we're looking at a savings of almost $500,000. We could have 2 students move in next week, and that could totally flip. So this is something that is constantly changing, and I am sure we will share, and you'll see between now and when we actually have to go to town meeting in May, that number will likely change, whether it's to the good or if we're spending more money. So just to be aware of that as well.
So I think this is important to just note that this is, as it mentions, it's the draft. I mean, a budget is always a living, breathing document. It can change at kind of the drop of a hat. So, but thank you for this quick presentation tonight. Is there any questions?
I have a couple other things, if you guys don't mind, just to kind of share with you. So while this is a level service budget, this does actually include 2 positions that are needed for mandated educational costs. So the first is a special education position at Norton High School. We have students that are aging up, and we need to increase the number of programs that are available at Norton High School. And the other thing that it includes is a 0.4 increase to our L teaching staff. Again, we have a huge number of, actually it's not, sorry. It's a large number for Norton. Everyone else thinks it's not a huge number. But we do have a number of L students, and it's not just necessarily the number, it's the level of language proficiency that they have when they come to us in town. So currently we have 3.6 FTEs for teachers that are our English language learner teachers, and the recommendation is to increase that to 4 full-time staff members. There were a number of other positions that were requested from the administrators and from the department. One is the another 5th grade section at the Yale School, which, as I believe you guys all know, is at the very top of my list. I actually think we're going to be able to absorb that from somewhere else when we see smaller enrollment and lower grades. So that is not in here as an added position. I believe we'll be able to do that regardless. And I also wanted to share with you, you guys all have a binder. We gave that to you tonight. Our next meeting, which is February 11th, will be our full budget workshop. And so during that time, you'll have the building principals here, you'll have our admin team, and we'll be able to walk you through the conversations around what are priorities for each of the buildings. One of the requests that was made from the committee was in terms of FTEs. All of these are in there for you as well. So when you take a look at each school by section, the very last page of each school is that line item, and it has the FTE. So for example, if the line item is kindergarten teachers, you'll see, okay, at this particular school, there are 5 kindergarten teachers, and you'll see administrative assistants, there are 2. So that is the last page for each of you in those school sections. Christine, as you all know, has spent an incredible amount of time putting this together with all of the unknowns. So if there are other things that the committee would like to see prior to, or for us to discuss at our February 11th meeting, please just let us know and we'll put them all together for you. And that's where we'll really kind of dig in and start, refining some of these things. As things come up, we will definitely update you in terms of changes in any of the line items that we see coming. But with that, we're happy to answer any questions or take any requests tonight.
I have a question. This might be opening a can of worms. I'm sorry. So I know that we're working on district alignment as well, correct? And
Yes.
focusing on elementary start times and school start times in general. And I know that ties to transportation. So is the transportation budget here also maybe a moving target or pretty solid?
Yes, it is. Any changes are not currently included.
Okay, thank you.
We are going to have Ross Haber come back out on February 11th as well. And so perhaps maybe we want to move him to the 28th. We'll have to think about that. He is currently running transportation. We actually just met with him this morning. He gave us some updates on alignment strategies, which was very interesting. And then he's doing the transportation components for us, and we'll have them for us on the 6th. So we'll meet with him that day on the 6th to get more updates. We also have to acknowledge the fact that any changes that we make, we want to make sure we're giving families lots of time. So it might be a conversation for the following September versus this September.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course.
So I think it's important just, to talk through the committee that, we just got this binder tonight, but obviously we have a couple weeks, so take your time to go through it. And obviously come with any questions in leading up to that meeting. If you wanted to see something else that maybe isn't here, through me to Jen and Christine, see if we can get that included. So it's like a homework alert for you guys that, in 2 weeks, any comments or questions, make sure we have them ready to go.
Just one quick one. Jen, when it says FY27 superintendent budget and under general ed, it's 23,500,000 and change. What is all included in on that? And the only reason why I'm asking is it's like almost a $700,000 increase from last year. So why such a big jump on that one?
Sorry, Nick, are you looking at,
Here, the bottom.
yes. So that is everything that's not mandated. So all of the salary lines go under that category, that anyone that is not a special educator or L teacher all goes under that line. Anything that has to do, all of our contract services, so transportation on the big yellow buses, our food service contract, anything else that we do that is not related to mandated education. The cost of, electricity and keeping our lights on, our custodial team, any cleaning materials, everything else comes under there.
Got it. And then in that same box, if you will, 23.5 million, is the teachers and all contracted employees, is health insurance included on that number, or is that not?
No, health insurance comes off of the top at the town level. So we do not make any payments towards health insurance. That is simply comes from the town.
Okay, so when we see this number of sorry, lost my thing here. 38.7 million, call it. That does not include any health insurance as well.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so that would be paid by the town prior to the budget being divvied out.
Got it. Okay.
Anything else?
I just want to give a big thank you to Christine. Yes. I love a good binder. And I appreciate all the tabs and the organization. This is certainly not my forte by any means, but this makes it a lot easier for me to understand. So thank you for all of your hard work and for the homework, I guess.
Anything else on this? Okay.
Thank you.
All right, next we have the first reading of the meal charge policy revision, again with Mrs. Hatfield.
So we discussed this several times last year. We do have to do a first reading again because it's a new fiscal year with new committee members. So the old meal charge policy was before we all became universally free. And this new meal charge policy is pretty standard. It's a little guidance from the state after we had our review from DESE with our admin review for our school lunch program last year. This is one of the mandatory items that we had to correct, which we knew ahead of time as well. So all we did is we made it a little more user-friendly for parents as well. It gives some key terms describing reimbursable meals versus non-reimbursable meals, second meals, what's actually free, and other guidelines. So everything else is pretty standard. We also included a non-discrimination statement in there and policy communications as well. So I don't know if you had any questions on this.
So this is more bringing the policy up to the new guidelines that were set by DESE and the USDA?
Correct.
Okay.
And the reason why this got pushed back again is because of them, because they were redoing their policy and now it's coming back to us.
Right. We qualified last year for a CEP district. So when we were talking with DESE, they wanted us to remove some of the language about reimbursable meals, but we could fall out of that. So we thought, why would we go and change and then have to change it back? So we thought we'd include it because what's the harm? But we were waiting for guidance, and then we decided to just go for it.
Okay.
What CEP is?
All right, anything else on this one, guys?
CEP is.
Nope.
Okay. So once again, just review that. If you have any questions or comments for next meeting, where we would read the final policy and bring those to that, please.
Hopefully we'll actually get it across the finish line this time without intervention from DESE in the meantime, who is arriving next week, by the way, so hopefully.
All right, next we have the review and vote on proposed school calendar. Dr. O'Neill.
Thank you. Okay, another hot button issue. I'm sure everyone's excited to talk about this. So when we last met, we took a look at the calendar for the 26-27 school year. And because Labor Day is so incredibly late this coming year, we are looking at coming back with both staff and students before that September 7th date. So I asked the committee for feedback, and then I also asked the staff for some feedback as well to kind of help put this section together here. So in the past, we had 2 professional development days before the start of the year. Should we keep this as is or move PD to later in the year? 3/4 of our staff said they liked having those 2 days before before the school year begins. I couldn't agree more. I actually feel like it's a great way for us to kind of front load professional development, especially if we're doing new programs or we have, new initiatives that we're working on for the year. You don't have to wait until November to get this work done. So that was really good. The second question was if you had to choose, right? This is like a would you rather type of situation here, or choose your own adventure. Would you rather have a half day on December 23rd or the Wednesday before Thanksgiving? This was pretty close when it comes to, how people were feeling, some wanted one versus the other. And then the third question I asked was what means more to you? Extending the summer as long as possible or getting out early in June? And again, almost, 75% of our staff said they would rather get out earlier in June. So I think that shows, I think we can all agree. I mean, especially when Labor Day is so late, it really is the latest it could possibly be. There is value in for us coming back before that with both students and staff. So I know people in the audience can't see this, and I apologize. It's very small, but you all did receive it earlier. Might have been yesterday from Pam. She sent you all the link. And so this calendar changes a few things around here. We have staff welcome back on Monday, the 31st of August, with our professional development day on Tuesday, the 1st. Students in grades 1 through 12 would come back on September 2nd and be in school on the 2nd and the 3rd. We would have a long weekend and return on the 8th, and students in grades 1 through 12 would be able to just roll right in. And that would be the first day for kindergarten and Little Lancers preschool. I think what we would probably do for our kindergarteners, and we haven't done the back of this calendar yet, we would have their open house prior to the long weekend and have them come in, meet their teachers, do those screening things that we do ahead of time. We could probably do the Little Lancers open house before then as well. So what I did here, in order to get us another day prior to the end of the school year, is I brought back the Wednesday before Thanksgiving as a half day, and I eliminated one of the early release days in March. I believe it was the 31st. This gets us to the last day of school on June 15th, which is a Tuesday. And it gives us a couple days to play around with that weekend, that week before the observance of Juneteenth on the 18th. And, I think you can never really predict what the winter is going to hold, as we know from earlier this week when we had 2 snow days and we've got another storm coming. So this is the proposal I have here. This is version 3. I'm happy to take any questions or feedback from the committee.
I have 2 questions.
Yep.
First question is, with both kindergarten and Little Answers starting on the same day, is that going to put strain at all on JCS trying to cover all of that happening at the same time? And I only ask because, again, just from experience, our elementary school, we have 2 separate days, and there's like pointed reason for that because every parent is like, So
They start at 2 different times, though.
They do.
Yeah.
And it's, I think,
that's why I just
honest answer is yes, probably. I think it's challenging because then you keep kicking the can down the road a little bit more when it comes to preschool. So, I mean, I'm not married to a lot of it.
Only because, and I know that, again, that's where your flexibility lies because those are not mandated.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think that's something that we could probably have a conversation with. I know we chatted last time. Oh, Holly, you and I chatted last time about just the early release days and the best way to make that happen so it's more equitable for families. So I would like to sit down maybe with a couple of the preschool teachers and Maria and Casey and see if we can figure out something to help make those days a little bit more equitable for families. So perhaps that could be something that we discuss at the same time if people feel strongly about it.
Okay. And then my only other one, and again, I'm sorry. So I know that at the last meeting we had talked about, I had talked about, because it's me, making that trade-off of the full day on the day before Thanksgiving to having like a half day added to the day before Christmas Eve. So I wasn't sure. I was just curious about the thoughts on that. Is it something that you had mentioned maybe to other superintendents and they were all like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. So I didn't know where
It's actually really district specific.
Okay.
And so it's really up to whatever people feel is most appropriate. I chose one instead of both, but
just throwing a bone here and there. It's always nice.
And it's funny because I went and I looked at a bunch from this past year, and it's really different. It is.
No, I know. There are some districts that go full 2 weeks. There's some
exactly.
that So,
and especially when you find so this past year we had like a really long break because of just the way the holiday fell. Next year will be a little bit shorter.
Right. Well, that's the other piece to it too, because that does make a difference. That's it. I'm done. Bye.
Yeah, I mean, I can say like the 4 school districts I service, everyone was different, and it made transportation kind of a nightmare. And I mean, there's districts. 2 of my districts didn't get me a calendar till August 1st, so we're way ahead of the game. So it's literally going to be, you could ask somebody and you're going to get a different answer as to why. So
That's why I was just curious.
Okay. Any questions, comments, concerns?
So of the, I've been counting 8 early release days. 6 are professional development for teachers and paras, obviously. And then there's just 2 more, last day of school, and I missed the other one. Oh, Thanksgiving. So those 2 days are half days for everybody. No one does PD on those.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, staff stays or to clean up or no? I don't know. I'm asking.
Staff has a certain amount of time they work after students get dismissed. It's about 90 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. Entertain a motion to approve the calendar as presented.
Version 3.
Yes, version 3.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Sorry, I'm just stuck on that half day.
1 opposition. All right. Next we have, where are we? Any other business not anticipated 48 hours in advance?
I just wanted to give a shout out to Mr. Lizotte and his crew and the DPW and the crew and Jared and everybody for all their hard work and the long hours they put in with this past storm and the sidewalks, the roads, the driveways, the parking lot, all the things. So shout out to them and all their hard work and time.
Thank you. Couldn't agree more. We've got a very hardworking crew. The extra snow that we got Monday night did not help us at all yesterday. I would have loved to have gotten that day in, but I'm sure everyone enjoyed their snow day as well. So we'll try again. Maybe sooner rather than later.
Okay. Anybody else? Anything else? All right. This time we are going to adjourn our general meeting and enter into executive session for the purpose of collective bargaining updates and strategy. We will not be returning, so we will do a roll call vote. Justine,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Audrey,
Yes.
Laura.
Yes.
I am a yes as well. Thank you all. Have a good night.
Have a great night.